morning, Dave Snyder here. It is the 7th day of September 2016, and I should have showed you this yesterday. I didn't make a video or document it at all yesterday, unfortunately. Um, right here over North America, or Mexico, basically, we had a Schrodinger weather pattern here yesterday. It's not there today, really, but yesterday it was here. It was a nice circle. I mean, even for Google Earth weather, it was pretty nice. And it had this. It actually had the circle right here in the weather with this curve, this perfect line right in place, which is how I was able to align it properly over North America. Now, you look at it over North America, and I just now did this. I mean, I just looked at it with this other picture of Mare Moscovians that I already had in place, and I just did it just like not even 5 minutes ago. I was looking at it with that, and I noticed that, wow, it lines up pretty good with this. Watch. Now, this Mare Moscovians has been set in place for a long time, and you can see there's a similar pattern there, very similar. Matter of fact, you can see the outline right here, the silver crystal here, what we call the silver crystal, or whatever you want to call this, just that hole right there. And you can see that there's a very similar pattern right there. This whole thing is the same shape, basically. It goes around, and that does line up pretty good, I think. I think that puts itself in place pretty well, because this spot on the Earth where I have this picture of Mare Moscovians, which is on the back side of the moon, and which this picture is flipped over backwards like it's supposed to be, and so is the other one of the lunar south pole. And it shows this area shows many areas of the lunar surface. It'll show Mare Oriental, Mare Moscovians, the Tycho pattern here. It shows the Tycho pattern, and the lunar south pole pattern, obviously, is right there too. So this is a really attractive area of the Earth. Maybe in the past, maybe still in the present, but we see that there's many. This lined itself up here. This put itself in the same place as this one right here, and I've showed this one before. I know people don't want to understand this because they think it's just so out of the ordinary, couldn't be true because of what you're told to believe and all that stuff. But if you looked at it as, I've been doing this for like 6 years, at least 6 years, and I'm telling you, well, about 6 years actually. I've been doing this, and it always puts itself together. I don't even have to try to put it together anymore. It just puts itself together. See that pattern, that weather pattern right there over North America? This is like from 2014 or something. It's an old pattern, old picture. But you can see that's the weather over North America. And you can, actually, it's pretty cool because it shows this slide pattern right here. Because this pattern right here of Mare Moscovians right there, okay, see that? That's a perfect, absolute perfect match right there of that pattern. But anyways, you see it has this slide pattern, in the weather you see it like a slide, because this is the same pattern right here. This pattern right here of the Hudson Bay and this area here is the same as this here, this pattern here. It's interesting that it looks like it slides from there. It actually slides and repositions itself right here. Now, what I believe happened in the ancient past with the moon and the Earth and the ice ages and everything else like that is the moon, the way that we see one side of the moon, right? We always see the same side of the moon. Well, if you were on the moon back then, you would see the same side of the Earth every day, just the same way. They were locked into position. This area of the moon, right here, was locked to this position on the Earth for a long period of time, obviously, because it actually left the pattern on the Earth, on the land. This pattern is on the land. This right here is on the land, or it wouldn't show in the weather. Anyways, it shows that it was locked onto this spot, and before that, probably locked onto this spot. And something changed and made it move, and it ended up stopping here, and you see this around the whole planet. This pattern right here goes around the whole planet. It goes right over out here in the Atlantic, all the way over here into Europe, and you'll see it over here in Asia by Japan. I'll try and show you that in this video. I'll try to see if you can follow me on it. Some of it's kind of hard to follow. You kind of have to do this for a while to understand some of it, I guess. But anyways, this pattern definitely ended up in a nice place. This lunar south pole pattern that I put up yesterday over the weather. It definitely ended up in a nice place. I just aligned it to the weather, this picture that was there yesterday. And it's not like you can't see it today. It's not in the weather today. It was there yesterday. If you have a way to go back in time with your weather, you can go back and see there's a big, beautiful circle right here. And you can align this lunar south pole Schrodinger pattern to that. It doesn't show it today very well, but it did yesterday. It showed it nicely with that, like I said, that little hook right there and everything. So I was able to put this in a really good position. And look at right here at the Yucatan, right there where the supposedly the big crater hit. That's absolutely perfectly aligned, and I didn't even notice it. But that's right where that thing is, right where the crater is, right there. Watch. I'll see if I can bring it up without that other picture in my way. Oh, damn it. I'll turn that off. But those two pictures align themselves. I think that's always interesting when that happens, and it happens every day. I mean, the more you do it, the more it happens. But anyways, you see right here, there's that crater's right here. Half of it comes on the land or something. It's right in here somewhere, here, like right here. Let's bring up that picture now. Let's see where it shows it. It lined itself up like this. Yep, perfectly. Look at that. Right off the shore. Put itself in a really good spot. Really good. I can actually see that black area. You can see that in there. Yep, that's pretty good. Okay, so another alignment that I did. I mean, that really fit well over this area. And the eastern United States is really, I mean, that picture I showed a minute ago with the weather sweeping from the north, it also has, Mare Oriental is also in that picture. The Mare Oriental pattern is also in that pattern. I've showed it in videos before with absolute, no question about it. You can check out my older videos, and I mean, I can't cover everything in one video on this subject because there's just too much. The weather patterns, it's definitely a repeating pattern. Okay, the last one I did yesterday. Well, let me show you this other one first. This is one I did right here. Was it that one? Okay, I did this one the other day. This is China. Let me turn the borders off here. This is China. Here's Japan. Here's India, right? Well, I just wanted to put it over North America. I was actually going to align it over the spot where I have Mare Oriental aligned, like right here. But then I noticed this this line by India. This is the Himalayas, right? This curve here is the Himalayas, and I noticed how they fit really well into that Baja, you know, this bay or sea right here. It fit really well into that spot. When I put them in that spot, it seemed like this spot fit really well here. And then you look it over, and then this spot right here ends up being by Yellowstone. I think it's that one. Yeah, see how it's like that's a hot spot right there. This is a hot spot too, and it ends up over Florida really, really good. When you see that, the Florida area, we're having all that tropical storm weather. It's all right there in that spot, same place. So I mean, Japan right there off, we're the Sea of Japan right here, and we just had that hurricane whatever with the stupid name that was right here in this area. It's almost fell right in the center of Japan when it started. I mean, it was like right here. You can see that's in the right place. So we have matching weather patterns in the Atlantic and the Pacific. They match. They're absolutely a pattern that matches. Now watch, I did this one yesterday. This is weather from China, Japan, right? Philippine Sea. And I just kind of threw this up there because I was trying to line up the east coast of Asia with the east coast of North America because they're like exactly the same. They're identical as far as weather patterns. And where the weather originates basically is what I'm trying to point out. Let me show you here. Okay, so we have Puerto Rico, where all these earthquakes happen, and we have a lot of those tropical storms start right here when there's these earthquakes and undersea eruptions. This trench right here, it has undersea eruptions and all that. Well, that just falls right into this area here, and we know there's a lot of earthquakes and volcanoes in that area. Okay, so that falls there. Okay, and then you come over here to the Great Lakes, which is right here, and you see the Hudson Bay falls into a good spot. It's all, see the Hudson Bay there? Look at that. And then you see right in the center of the Great Lakes, there's that red spot there, and this all fits in there too. And then you come over here, where we just had that one eruption that started this hurricane over here in Mexico. That's an eruption under the ocean. You have the same red patterns there. This is a volcano in Mexico right here where that big red spot is there. And you have this down here where this is by South America where the whales all go to migrate. They all migrate here to have their calves or whatever where the water's warmer. And we see that red area fall there with the same curve and shape right there. I mean, it's hard to see that for most people, but I can clearly see that there's a definite repeating pattern there. And right here, see the round circle like that, like Schrodinger right there. That's just like Schrodinger. You barely see it, but that is a circular pattern, just like Schrodinger. If I bring that back up, it's like almost right in place, not aligned to it. I did not align it to it. Noticed it later on. So, anyways, we already know that Schrodinger is over here. I've showed that before. Schrodinger is in this area. You see Japan right there. Okay, well China right here. I've showed it there before. Schrodinger right in the same area. And you can also bring Mare Moscovians will fit over here around Japan. So it shows a lot of things. Like I have Mare Moscovians over this area right here, where you see Japan is right in the same place. See that? I mean, you can take Japan and move it across the whole United States. It'll fit like it moved across the whole United States, because what I see going on here is either a hot spot that the crust is moving over the top of these hot spots that create the same patterns on the land. You know what I mean? Like the east coast of Asia has already been there or is there now, and we were there before or something. You know, it's all a matching sequence. Definitely. Oh, then you have like over here where the Rockies are, you have that weather there fitting. Look at that. See that pattern? Fits right in there. That weather fits right in there. All the way from all the way north to south, it fits all the way through. Everything, there's something in place for everything. Anyways, okay, so that's there. I like that one. And the one with Africa. Did I do one with Africa? Oh no, this other one I was talking about, the one where I did this one, where I put the Himalayas into that Baja right there. That lined up pretty good, like right there. And what I did is I marked these two spots where I know in the Indian Ocean or this bay right here. I can't remember the name of it, but there's always you'll always see a twister right here, like a cyclone here, and cyclonic weather right in this area here. Well, we just seen that Mexico one. Look at right there. That's where the Mexico one, I marked it right in the center the other day where it started. And we see they have similar weather. Here in India, where we see that big purple spot basically in the weather all the time, falls right into this area. This is like the central part of where we see that purple spot all the time in this area. Okay, well that just happened to fall right where this hurricane centered when it began the other day. Right there is the spot I marked. And here's another one. I marked this one because this is where I've seen in this area of India cyclonic weather, where it just creates a big hole right here. And I already know from studying and reading and researching that there is an undersea volcano here. You can type that in and search it in Google. There is an undersea volcano in this area offshore of India, where they're worried about, because they're worried about this nuclear power plant that's right near there. So that's why I was able to find an article on this undersea volcano. So there is an undersea volcano right here. When you see cyclonic weather here, you know right then it's an eruption of that volcano. When you see cyclonic weather right in this spot, that is an eruption of this undersea volcano that they know about. Okay, and then see the way that it always tracks this way right into Myanmar, or it comes up this way into Myanmar almost all the time. So I'm just going to wait for the hurricanes to hit this area. We already had one just today or yesterday, so I'm sure one will fall right on this spot eventually, right in this area here. If this one right here might have been from that same thing. Anyways, that's the way I see the world working these days. Is this whole pattern here, the whole land pattern and everything has been over this spot where where it's really hot, and it has the same features. It just matches. It all goes together anyway. It's just the Earth is just a puzzle of pieces. And that China spot, I think, is a big deal. The China spot here. Right there. That is a huge piece of evidence right there. That is so huge. You just can't imagine how big that is. That is the center of a Mare Oriental pattern right there. That, come on now, out of memory, whatever. Anyways, it does that all the time. I just turned it on. It's already out of memory, I guess. So whatever. So just check that out. Mare Moscoviensis, Mare Oriental, Mare, the lunar south pole go together here. We see. I've showed many videos with the Schrodinger pattern. If you go way back in my videos, you'll be able to see some good ones on that one, I think. On my channel, where I have like 1,000 videos. Haven't seen them in a long time, but I have a lot of videos. Some of them suck, some of them don't. They show good stuff no matter what. But that's a good match of that pattern, I think. That's Mare Moscovian. So you can see it when I bring it up. It's got the same outline. I think it does. Right here. I can totally see that. It's just a little off to this hole needs to be a little bit more to the right, and it would be right on the money. Because you can see this round outline right here with the hole right there. And then the Schrodinger would be right here where the weather showed it yesterday, right? Showed it right there. And then I could bring up, let's see, Texas, where I brought up Texas topo map right here to prove. Here's the weather. Okay, here's the weather. If it was here over North America, unmistakably the same pattern. No question about it. Okay, that's the same pattern. Then I brought up Texas. The same time I put this up, I brought up the Texas one. Because I looked right here. Let me turn the borders on. Let me show you this again, if you're still watching. Okay, Texas. Look how interesting Texas looks. If the landscape in Texas matches this pattern of the moon, then we're on to something, right? Well, here you go. I typed in Texas topo map and I aligned it into the borders. I didn't even align it to the picture. I just aligned it inside the borders there. Okay? Look at that pattern match. Absolutely perfect. I mean, it's not absolutely perfect, but it's as close as you're going to get. That is the same exact pattern, confirming that Texas was shaped by this area. If all the shit's real that we're given as far as imagery of the Earth and the Moon, then this is the way it was. I mean, it's showing that. If they're just trying to show us this to trick us, well, whatever. I'm just trying to show you that it's there. That's all I'm trying to do. So have a good day. I got things to do. Until next time. The moon's big. Big as the Earth. Proof every day.